Many cruisers come to St Kitts and go straight to the beach. We wanted to as well, but we also didn't want to miss its biggest sites, like Brimstone Hill Fortress. So with just a day on the island, we hired a driver to try to do both. Could we actually do it? See the highlights and still make it to the beach? Let's find out. Good morning, fellow travelers. This is Ken and welcome back to my channel, Ken Travels 360. Today is day 5 of our Eastern Caribbean cruise on Allure of the Seas, and we've just arrived at a new country, St Kitts and Nevis. The ship has just docked at Basseterre, and after a beach day yesterday at St Thomas, we're switching things up today. We booked a private day tour that takes us deep into St Kitts history, art and scenery. And after the tour, we'll spend a little bit of time exploring the town itself. Right, let's go get breakfast and then we'll get off the ship and meet our guide. Alright, we just came back from breakfast and back to our cabin, ready to go out. And now we have a neighbor next to us, and it's Celebrity Apex. We were on this ship last year when we sailed to the Norwegian fjords. We have really good memories on it. It's really nice to see again. It's almost like meeting an old friend. Now we're at Port Sainte and our guide should be just outside the cruise terminal. So we should be getting ready and go out now. Yay, we're getting off the ship. So we've just got off the ship, walking between Allure of the Seas and Celebrity Apex, and we're gonna go find our guide. Wow, it's really windy here. So this is Port Sainte. Welcome to St Kitts and Nevis. So we've just met up with our guide and we've got to the car and we're about to start our tour. We really like doing private tours when we visit these Caribbean islands. For us, it's just a better experience than the cruise line excursions. They're often more expensive and you're locked into a fixed schedule with a big group. If you want to spend more time somewhere or skip a stop, well, you can't. You have to stick with the group. With a private driver, you've got that flexibility, which makes a big difference on a short port stay. As we're leaving Basseterre, our guide is pointing out a few of the main landmarks, like the circus, the clock tower, Independence Square, and the cathedral. We'll come back and explore these properly later. But for now, it's a nice quick introduction to the town before we get going. So we're at the foothills of Brimstone Hill Fortress National Park, but before visiting that, we actually asked the guide to make a stop somewhere nearby really quick. Over there, you will see the tugboat shipwreck. This tugboat is sitting in surprisingly shallow water. You can actually see the outline of the hull from the road on a clear day, which already tells you how close it is to the surface. Oh, by the way, you can see Brimstone Hill Fortress in the background. This tug has been here for years now, and over time it's become part of the underwater landscape. Now we're gonna drive up the winding road from the coast, and you can already see how high this place sits above the island. Even on the drive up, the views keep opening up behind us.
English.
Well, we've just arrived at Brimstone Hill Fortress, and the scale of it hits you straight away. All these stone walls are huge and incredibly solid. This isn't just some old ruin. This was built to defend the island properly. And this fortress sits nearly 800 feet above sea level on a volcanic hilltop, giving commanding views across St Kitts and out to the ocean. Very soon, you understand why this is known as the Gibraltar of the West Indies. This is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it was built hundreds of years ago when the British were defending the island. A lot of the hard labor was done by African workers, and when you walk around here, you really start thinking about how much effort must have gone into moving all these stones up a hill like this. Okay, we've reached the top section now, which is known as Fort George, and the view up here is absolutely incredible. Look at that. We've got green hills behind us, and then the town of Sandy Point down there, and the sea just stretching out in the distance. But we're now kind of up there. On a clear day here, you can even see other islands like St Eustatius. You really get a sense of how strategic this spot was. Nothing would have been able to sneak up on the island without being seen from here. But inside the citadel, there are a few small exhibition rooms that explain how people lived and worked here. It's not huge, but it adds some useful context. You realize this wasn't just a military base. So here they talk about the Bloody River Massacre. We passed through that earlier when we stopped there and the guy explained it. What happened was that a combined force of English and French settlers staged a surprise attack on the natives, Caribs. Between 2,000 and 4,000 were massacred when they had gathered at a sacred site in the ravine of Pelham River. Today, that site is known as Bloody River or Bloody Point. Well, we're now in the powder magazine where gunpowder was stored. So here, we've got an artillery officer's quarters. We actually thought it's a church ruins from a distance, but actually this was apparently the most handsome domestic building in the fortress. Well, this has definitely been the highlight of the day so far. The mix of history and views is just hard to beat. But now it's time to move on, and we're heading to our next attraction.
Of the rainforest. Rommney Manor, home of the cowbell.
So we're now in Rommney Manor. Well, Rommney Manor is actually steeped in history, dating all the way back to the 17th century. This was once a sugar plantation, and it's also famous for being the ancestral home of Samuel Jefferson, the great-great-great-grandfather of US President Thomas Jefferson. So this was a sugar factory?
This was a sugar factory, but it wasn't giving us the nice flowing sugar.
Oh, skipping rope, sorry. Oh. Well, today Rommney Manor is really well known for this rainforest. We're now in the rainforest and it's absolutely breathtaking to see all these vines and just amazing trees around. So here, if you like, there is also rum tasting. It's $5 per person, but we still have a lot of touring to go, so we are skipping the rum tasting. Now, one of the most unique aspects of Rommney Manor today is that it's home to Caribel batik. This is where they create stunning handmade batik clothing and art, all inspired by the natural beauty of the Caribbean. You can see how the batik designs are created. Hot wax is applied to the fabric, and then it's dyed in layers to build up these bold patterns and colors. Every piece is slightly different, which makes it feel properly handmade rather than something mass-produced.
And each piece is done by hands. This is a finished piece of a string band right here. 3 days work to complete. To tell genuine batik, it always has to be the same on both sides. And we do not have a right or a wrong side. And that's how you can tell it's a genuine piece of batik. You can also wash the fabric in the machine. You can hand wash it. You can put it in the dryer to be dry. You can also hang it on the clothesline. The fabric will not shrink. So everything that you see in the store was done with the wax and the dyes, and that's how batik is done.
Well, I do enjoy here You've got Caribbean history, local craftsmanship, and tropical garden all in one place. But now it's time to move on to our next attraction.
No, it's not sour. It's sort of like sweet.
Quite sugary.
Thank you. Oh, wow. So, trying this fruit called soursop.
Yeah.
Well, it's sweet and sour.
It's very sour, actually.
Yes.
So we are on the way to the beach, but before that, we have stopped here at Timothy Hill Lookout. This is so dramatic. You can see the Atlantic Ocean on one side and the Caribbean Sea on the other side. Well, we are now at South Friars Beach, which is known for its beautiful views, calm waters, and popular beach bars. Here, you will find a calm Caribbean-side bay that's one of the easiest beach stops on St Kitts if you want swim time, snorkeling, and a laid-back drink before you head back to the ship. This beach runs along a pretty sheltered stretch of the southeast peninsula, so the water here is typically calm, shallow, and great for just floating around for swimming. There are beach bars and beach clubs dotted along here, so you can grab a classic Caribbean cocktail, a cold rum punch, or a local beer while you're hanging on one of these chairs, which are for rent. As you can see when we were at Timothy Hill Lookout, this is way more relaxing than the rough Atlantic side beaches. By the way, if you're enjoying coming along with us today and finding this useful, please put the like button. It really helps the channel and tells YouTube you're enjoying these cruise port adventures. And if you're new here, I would love you to subscribe and join the journey. We travel all over the world, not just the Caribbean, and there's plenty more coming up on this cruise. Alright, time passes quickly, and it's now time to head back to Basseterre.
Athlete who went to England.
Well, our guide and driver has dropped us off at the cruise terminal in Basseterre, but we still got a bit of time before all aboard. So rather than head straight back to the ship, I thought I would have a quick wander around and see a few highlights in town. Steve has decided to go back to the ship to have a rest though. Well, from the port, we're gonna take this exit to see the historic Basseterre. Well, this building behind me is a National Museum. It's actually in the old Treasury building, which I quite like it. It's got that proper colonial look about it, although currently it's closed under renovations, so you can't go inside. Okay, just over here is something a bit unexpected. This is called the Circus, and yes, it's modeled after Piccadilly Circus in London. In the middle, you've got this green cast iron Berkeley Memorial Clock Tower, which seems to be one of the most photographed spots here in Basseterre. It's quite surreal seeing something that feels so familiar, but in the middle of the Caribbean. Well, just a short walk from here is Independence Square. It's a lovely little green space with benches and trees, and it feels like a nice place to slow things down for a minute. And look at this, a proper red British telephone box, but without a phone inside. I'm guessing this one exists purely for Instagram photos now. And look at this, in the middle of Independence Square, there's this lovely fountain. Well, right next to the square is the Co-Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. This Catholic church dates back to the 1920s and is built from limestone. We're gonna pop inside to have a quick look. Well, it's late afternoon now, so it's properly lit outside by the sun. Inside, it's really calm in here, especially after the noise of the streets outside. And you can really see the craftsmanship in the details here. Before you head back to the ship, you can have a quick browse around the craft market at Port Sante. There are loads of little stores selling handmade items, souvenirs, and local bits and pieces. It's always nice to pick up something small to remember the day by. Well, and just like that, our time in St Kitts is nearly done. It's been a really nice mix today. A bit of history, some beautiful scenery, a beach stop, and now a bit of wander around the capital. I hope you've enjoyed this adventure too. If you would like to check out some of the other ports of entry on this cruise or see what we got up to on the sea days as well, you can click here or here to watch the next video. See you over there. Happy cruising. Well, as you can see, we just sailed away from our pier. So goodbye Basseterre, goodbye St Kitts.